To the April board meeting for the public schools of Robeson County. This time we'd like to call the meeting to order. We're going to have the Mr. Henry Brewer is not here. He's on the screen. He's doing remote. He's in the hospital. We're going to have the invocation by Mr. Craig Lowry.
Thank you. Let us pray. Our gracious Father, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for bringing us this way today, and we just thank you for your many blessings each and every day. We thank you for all those who are assembled here tonight and who will be doing work for the betterment of our school system and for the public schools of Robeson County. We ask your blessings upon our staff and our students each and every day, and we ask that decisions we make tonight will be done for the betterment of this school system. These things we ask in thy name. Amen.
Amen. Hope everyone, all the board members who look at you, we have a revised agenda. If you look at it, you see the ones that are red. At this time, we'll take adoption of the revised agenda. Moved by Mr. Gentry, second by, okay.
I would like public comments to be moved up before information items.
We're not just going to arbitrarily move it, Vontae. Now, we can vote on it, move it, but and we can talk about it.
I thought we talked about it last time, and when it was asked, you said it was going to be in the front.
Yeah.
We talked about it last time, but we can hold a vote on it.
Yeah, when we get to it, right now it's on the agenda as it always has been after we come out of closed session, but before we go into that, we can have discussion about it. Did you second the motion though? Or?
I didn't second the motion.
Huh? Okay. Brenda seconded the motion. By Mr. Gentry and second by Brenda. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Motion passed. At this time, we have approval of open session minutes. Moved by Randy, second by, who second? Mr. Gentry. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed? Motion passed. This time we'll get to the information items. The NIAAA Certified Athletic Administrator, Jerome Hunt. That'll be done by Mr. Bobby Locklear.
Good evening, Chairman Smith, board members, Dr. Williamson. It is my pleasure tonight to present an award to Mr. Jerome Hunt. The National Interscholastic Athletic Administrations Association is pleased to announce that Jerome Hunt has been recognized by the NIAAA as a certified athletic administrator. To earn this distinction, Jerome Hunt has demonstrated the highest level of knowledge and expertise in the field of interscholastic athletic administration. The voluntary certification process included a thorough evaluation of the candidate's educational background, experience, and professional contributions, as well as a rigorous, comprehensive written exam. Jerome Hunt is one of an elite group of interscholastic athletic administrators nationwide to attain this level of professionalism. So we have a plaque.
Congratulations. Appreciate what you're doing. Appreciate all you do. Next item on the agenda is finalists for the 2022 NCASA Administrator of the Year Award. Dr. Robert Locklear.
Chairman Smith, Superintendent Williams, board members, after careful review of all nominations, the North Carolina Association for Scholastic Activities has chosen our very own Ken Brandt as a finalist for the 2022 North Carolina Association for Scholastic Activities Administrator of the Year Award. He was recognized for his outstanding leadership of scholastic activities in the public schools of Robeson County. As a finalist, he will be invited to attend the Metro Graphics Printing North Carolina Showcase as their guest. Congratulations to Mr. Ken Brandt.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I do. I made a promise to the principals back in December when we met right before the holiday break. And at that point, I said, give me 3 years with your Quiz Bowl coaches and your Quiz Bowl kids, and we will have a competitor sitting at the state championship table. Well, we didn't do that this year, so I still have 2 years, thanks. But in the meantime, we did have 2 teams go to regionals. And in May, I'll tell you all about their story because they're going to be doing the presentation. But at least one of the teams went way above and beyond that day. And I'll tell you that story next month. So stay tuned.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the State Capital Infrastructure Fund. That'll be handled by the full board. We're glad to have in our presence tonight Senator Danny Britt, sitting at the back, and Representative Charles Gray. At this time, if you'll come forward, please.
Mr. Chair, members, what we want to do is get a picture of the full board and Ken as they present this. Yes. And we'll get Senator Britt and Representative Graham to present the check, please, to the full board.
Me and Brenda get on the front row.
He's short.
Just let us on up here.
Y'all take that, Suzanne? Nice.
You have everybody here?
Everybody, Henry's on video. Everybody else.
Dr. E?
If y'all have it, Dr. Britt or Charles, if y'all have anything you want to say.
Well, I'd like to say, on behalf of the North Carolina House of Representatives, I'm honored to be here to make this recognition. This is something that I'll have to give Mr. Brandt, give him a lot of credit for this because he certainly has been an advocate for the planetarium becoming a reality here in Robeson County. He and I have talked about this for many years, a few sessions, to be honest with you. And we are very pleased. I am, and I know Senator is very pleased as well. And I know many of you here. I've worked with you and I've seen your passion. And I'm honored to stand before you and make this presentation. I know your heart's in the right place and this is well deserved. And I'm very pleased that our children will have this opportunity to enjoy this one day in the very near future. So congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Yeah, just on behalf of the Senate, I'd like to say the same thing, and I'll tell you that Mr. Brandt began calling and emailing about a month after I first got elected in 2016.
He's persistent.
So there is really nobody that deserves credit for this right here more than what Mr. Brandt does. Myself and Mr. Graham, Charles Graham, are nothing more than cogs in the system. If it were not for the push of Mr. Brandt, this wouldn't happen for Robeson County. I spent time at the planetarium as a child myself, so I know I enjoyed it, and I know I look forward to my children enjoying the new planetarium very soon. Hopefully.
Thank you.
1,
Appreciate it.
2, 3.
Everybody hold tight, just hold tight. And we're happy to announce for $5 million
Oh, of course. Betcha. You people never seen this again.
Senator Red, this is on behalf of the public schools of Robeson County, our school board members, our superintendent, Dr. Williamson, present to the Honorable Betty Red for your loyal support and commitment to the public schools of Robeson County Planetarium Science Center, April 12, 2020. Thank you, Dr.
I'm presenting this one to Mr. Charles Green for your loyal support and commitment to the public schools of Robeson County Planetarium Science Center, April 12th. You get it, which one? Mr. Burnett?
Dr. Burnett.
Come on, Doc.
Short last.
You can get up front, Dr. Man.
No, I want to get Nick between two good looking.
Oh, my.
Oh, okay. Fred, you can have.
I hear you.
I'll take it.
I'll take it.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, I got you.
$1 million, sir.
Where's it at?
Thank you. At this time, we'll move to the 2022 summer work schedule. Dr. Freddie Williamson.
Mr. Chairman and members, once again, we're asking you to approve our summer work schedule. It's scheduled to start on Monday, June the 13th. It would end on August 1, 2022. It will move us to a 4-day work week, work hours from 7:30 to 5 p.m. with a 30-minute break. So we're asking your approval again for that to start on June 13th, 2022 and end August 1, moving us to a 4-day work week, please.
That's my motion, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Sorry. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
Great, thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
make a motion that we approve the AIG plan. I've read it and it's up to snuff before they even have to get a,
Second.
Have a motion by Dr. Emmanuel, second by who?
Henry.
Henry, second by Henry, to approve the academic gifted program plan. Do you have anything to add to that, Dr. Robert? You good? Okay. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion passed. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the student reassignment policy 4150. Deals with Townsend, South Robeson, and Fairgrove. That's represented by Dr. Williams and the administrative team.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. This is a follow-up from our meeting on Friday. We shared with you, according to policy 4150, for the address that we make best use of our facilities. And so we're recommending and asking your approval because of the overcrowdedness at Townsend, the Townsend to become an elementary school, pre-K 5, projected number of students would be 283. Then for South Robeson to become a middle school, serving grades 6, 8, the projected enrollment would be 402. And Fairgrove Elementary to become K5, projected enrollment 294. And Southside would become pre-K 5. Once, if you approve tonight, we will have a town hall meeting with parents so we can answer any questions that they might have. I do want to go on record and you know, we've heard conversation about we plan to close the school. That is not true. We have no plans at this point to close any schools. Also, we will note that we will provide transportation for those students, athletes who want to participate in sport from Southall back to Townsend. So I'm asking your approval.
Mr. Chair,
Had a question by Henry?
Dr. Williamson, also, I think it would be important to make mention to the public that it will not affect our staff in numbers, that we will not be losing any staff.
That's correct. The staff will be based on the grade spans and the state allotment in those schools. So no one will lose their job. Middle school teachers will be reassigned, obviously, to the middle school, but no one will lose their job as a result.
Had a motion by Brenda. Was there a second? Second by Henry. Second by Henry. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you.
Before we get to the Learning Alternative Program, I want to mention that Miss Olivia Oxendine is here in the audience tonight. She served on the State Board of Education. We're glad she's here and we appreciate you being here. Next item on the agenda is the Learning Alternative Program Policy 3470 and 4305. Dr. Freddie Williamson and Ms. Jennifer Freeman.
Ms. Freeman, I'm going to yield to you.
So good evening, Chairman Smith, Superintendent Williamson, and board members. As previously shared in our committee work session meeting on Friday evening, the School Justice Partnership and Central Office staff met to discuss establishing an effective partnership. The data led to a discussion about the needs of Robeson County. One of the needs that was very, very clear in the discussion is the need for an alternative learning program. The PSRC is recommending this evening to you an alternative program to meet the needs of our students.
Hold
Have a motion by Brenda,
it. What does that mean?
second by Craig. You have a question? So you second it too, you just got a question?
I have a question. to
We have,
start with.
I have a question.
All right, I need a second for the motion. Second by John. Motion first by Brendan, second by John. Now, first question is Craig and then Dr. Emmanuel. Craig, you got the floor.
Okay, Ms. Jennifer, repeat what you said as far as the recommendation is.
We're recommending an alternative program.
Okay, alternative programs being recommended. How will that affect LAP?
I think I made a statement the other night that all of LAP would return back to the high schools. I misspoke. That is not the case. We will still serve, so it'll be a combination of the alternative school and the LAP program. And those students who have a need to be in LAP, expecting mothers or kids who cannot make it at the larger high school. So we're not doing away with LAP. It'll be two programs at that site.
Thank you.
Dr. Emmanuel.
Okay, so let me understand, and I appreciate you are adding to presently what you have that is currently at LAP. And that's a great recommendation. LAP can be expanded. You have the facility there. You would if you have to have a portion that's JA or whatever, I think that is a marvelous idea. My concern was that we not take the heart out of it. And I appreciate you clarifying that. I think that you have relieved a lot of hearts tonight by clarifying that and stating that you're leaving that in place, because went to a program today. I was invited to a program that the children who had made the honor roll there, and it was absolutely a tear-jerking event to watch those children and just listen to some of their stories. And I encourage any of you that if you haven't been, to go talk to some of those children. They would not survive at the regular high school setting. It's because they have an individual support system there that's different than high school. There's nothing wrong with our high schools. They're wonderful. But some children need more than our high schools can give them because of the numbers that the high schools have to work with. So I appreciate you, Superintendent, and your staff clarifying that for us and looking out for those troubled children. Thank you so very much. Yes.
Mr. Gentry.
Point of clarification for myself, what is the distinction between the LAP program and the Learning Alternative Program?
The lab program is, again, to echo Dr. Emmanuel, serve students who may not be the best fit at a traditional campus. Also, part of that program is to catch kids up who are behind in credit and to accelerate them for grade level placement and graduation. The alternative program is an alternative to long-term suspended students. To date, Barbara, we talked this afternoon, we're probably at 90 plus students that are long-term at home because we don't have an alternative placement. And alternative school will serve students 6-12.
May I make one more statement? And I'm
Sure.
so glad that you are going that route because if I'm not mistaken, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, we are supposed to have a program for children under 16 when we throw them out of school or suspend them.
Yes, we certainly are. That is one of the things that we talked about in the justice meeting. When we were there, we were actually reviewing the law, and the law changed several years ago.
Yes,
And that's
ma'am.
as a result of that, that's the birth of the school justice partnership, and the outgrowth of that would be to have that alternative learning program for our students, because that is part of the work that we know that we need to do to reduce the number of students that have nowhere to go and to continue to be able to develop in their growth.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Henry's got the floor.
I make a motion that we accept the alternative learning program.
Already got
We already had that. Didn't Brenda make the motion?
motion and second.
Randy, you second? Huh? John second. Any other comments? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the name of facility at Fairmont High School, the gymnasium, after Mr. Michael D. Baker. Jerome Hunt.
Good evening, Superintendent Dr. Williamson, Chairman Smith, board members. At the last board meeting, I presented to you the nomination for naming the gym at Fairmont High School, the Michael D. Baker Gymnasium. A public forum on this nomination was held virtually on April 4th with no opposition. Tonight, I would like to make a recommendation to name the gym at Fairmont High School, Michael D. Baker Gymnasium.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Who made the motion to approve? Monte, who seconded it? Ed?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the surplus outside water fountain at Green Grove Elementary. Erica Setzer.
Good evening, Chairman Smith, Superintendent, Dr. Williamson, and board members. We have been asked to bring forward to designate the outside water fountain at Green Grove Elementary as surplus property for disposal.
Have a motion by Brenda. Second by John. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
Mr. Chair, I have a question about.
Okay, Dr. Manuel's got the floor.
I just want a clarification. What happened to the sign though? Did we remove the sign at Green Grove?
Yes, it went to Fairgrove. The digital
Okay,
sign,
so you remove all parts of it. It wasn't vandalized any of it.
no ma'am, not
Okay.
that I'm aware of.
That's okay.
Good. Any other comments or questions? Next item on the agenda is the 2021-22 budget resolution. Ms. Stetson.
And this was presented in detail at our workshop Friday night. If any other questions have come up, I can answer those at this time.
Second.
Motion by Randy, second by, who second?
Craig.
Motion by Randy, second by Craig. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the 2022-2023 sign-on bonuses for certified employees. Eric Seth.
Can we go back? The PRC 071 supplemental funds, Mr. Chairman Smith.
Supplemental funds. Did I miss it?
Yes.
Okay. Supplemental funds. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I got glasses on.
Again, this was presented Friday night. As a summary, this is funding that was approved by the State Board of Education, General Assembly, and DPI. These numbers were approved at the state level. PSRC did not give any input into these dollars. We discussed when this would be paid, and once this is approved tonight, I'll send out something in a financial update that I send to the staff to let them know when they can expect to receive this payment.
I make motion to accept.
A motion by Randy. Got a
He
motion by
can't hear
Randy.
you, Mr. Lawson, because
Second by Henry.
you're
You got a question, Craig?
I would just like for Ms. Sarika, say that again, please loudly, so they understand this came down from state, right?
Right.
State.
That's correct.
Yeah, please state that again. that this
The
is where this
supplemental
came from.
funds for teacher compensation were decided at the State Board of Education, General Assembly, and Department of Public Instruction. There was a formula that I included in the information I gave everybody Friday. It's on the website for this as well, where this, the dollar amounts that each district has as a maximum amount to give to staff was approved at that level and was not calculated here at the district at all. The lowest or the minimum amount that a district has as to give out is $436, and the highest is $4,250. And the amount that was calculated for PSRC is $1,490.
That's my motion, Mr. Chairman.
Got a motion by Randy, second by Henry. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Now we'll do the bonuses.
Thank you. And we did not discuss these at the work session Friday night, but it was included in your packet. If anybody has any questions, we did make some changes to the sign-on bonus agreement to increase the amount for all teachers and to make some distinctions for school psychologists and exceptional children. And those are all included in the information that was as part of your packet from Friday.
I'm sorry. You all will be sending that to the staff also.
This probably will actually get uploaded to our Facebook page
Okay.
as part of teacher recruiting.
Thank you.
I get a motion.
Motion on the sign-on bonuses.
Second.
Got a motion by Randy, second by Craig. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Next item on the agenda is sole source vendor, Eureka Math textbook allotment. Ms. Stetson.
So we are presenting a couple of options from Eureka Math as part of establishing our core curriculum. We'll be using the textbook allotment for this particular purchase. There was a 1-year and a 3-year quote given, and I included both of those. And of course, there are more discounts for the 3-year, and that is what we are recommending. And we will get a new textbook allocation every year that will help cover this cost.
I make a motion to accept.
Second.
Got a motion by Henry. Who made the second? Mr. Gentry made the second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Next item on the agenda is the FEMA arbitration decision. Eric Assessor and Hugh McElwain.
So Hugh, Mr. McElwain and myself listened to met with the attorneys, since our 180-day timeline is up with our FEMA lawsuit, and I'm gonna let Mr. McElwain go over some of those details from that meeting we had on Friday.
Good evening. So yeah, Friday we met the 180-day deadline so we can withdraw our appeal and file a motion for arbitration, which means it will go before a panel of 3 judges that strictly deal with FEMA arbitration cases. So at this point, we have a decision. Do we keep the appeal going? Might hear something tomorrow, might hear something 3-4 years from now. It's been 180 days since we filed the appeal. They have not yet reviewed the appeal at all. If we go ahead and withdraw the appeal, file the arbitration, we can move this along and have a pretty much an answer, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Hunt, within 120 days from the time the motion is filed.
That's correct.
And basically what it'll come down to, I hate to say it because I don't want to hear the word settlement, but you come to terms on a price.
Move approval to withdraw the settlement and move on with the arbitration, Mr. Chairman.
Second. You know, Grady, you feel good with that? I know we got outside attorneys, but you in on that call as well?
I was not,
You were not.
but we've talked.
That's the way they lead here, Eric.
Yeah, that we've talked, and I know that's the way Baker Donaldson's, I mean, we had that conversation early on, that they didn't really anticipate FEMA coming back with a decision during the timeline, and they expected the arbitration route. So it's kind of going the way we thought it would go.
And what the attorney, Ms. Danielle, stated that when they prepared the appeal packet to go to FEMA, it was pretty much done with arbitration in mind. So it's just a matter of pull it from here, give it right back to the arbitration.
Okay. All right, so Brenda, you made a motion?
Yes, sir.
Who second?
Second.
Randy second. Any further discussion about the FEMA arbitration? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the monthly financial report, Ms. Erica.
The monthly financial.
Dwayne,
Do you have anything, Ms. Erica?
No, sir.
Okay, motion to approve the monthly financial report.
Second.
a motion by Dwayne, second by Randy. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Williams, got the floor.
Erica Stan. We received our audit report on Friday night. Outstanding report, no findings from the auditors. Erica, will you blow your own horn and share how that report went and how you've been able to really increase our financial standing, please?
Well, I'm always going to say it's because of my great staff. I really appreciate Hugh's part of that staff and all the ladies in finance and everybody else. It takes all of us working together to make sure we get that clean audit every year, because every part of what happens in the school system at some point comes back to finance. So I appreciate everybody's help with that. And as Dr. Williamson indicated, there were no findings from the auditors, but there may be a finding because it's late this year for a lot of reasons we went over Friday night. And I'll update everybody when that comes back from the LGC. But it really takes everybody working collaboratively to make sure we have all those pieces in place and we can communicate with each other. Communication is the key to it in making sure that's a clean report each year.
Leadership matters. Thank you for your leadership. and
Who's
your
got the floor
department.
now?
I would just like to say what you just said. Thank you for the leadership, Eric. Without her, we couldn't do it. So it's all her.
Mr. Chairman.
I'd like to echo that myself. I think we have one of the best staffs in the state. They do an excellent job. We
Miss
had no
Erica.
findings and we're in our plus months, or how many months are
And
out are we now,
as
Erica?
Mr.
About
Grissom stated, that our fund balance has increased tremendously. It was down to, I believe his record showed 2%, and I think we're up to beyond 25%.
Right,
So how that has increased from the situation we were in 2019.
right.
So we have seen dramatic improvement.
Yes, ma'am. Craig, you had the floor.
Yes, Ms. Erica, you forgot one thing that was recommended.
Additional staff.
Yes, you forgot that. I just thought I'd remind you.
And we have plans, with Hugh being promoted to Assistant Finance Officer, we do have plans to fill his previous position, so that's in the works.
And Miss Erica, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
You said we don't have to vote on it tonight, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
The policy states that the audit has to be presented to the board in an open session, and it was, but we will bring back the final report once we get final LGC approval.
Okay. Dr. Williams?
So Erica, will you please share with the board that you and I've had that conversation on that position, correct?
That's correct.
All right,
Yes,
just, I got it.
thank you.
Thank y'all. Next item on the agenda is closed session, but we're not gonna go into closed session at this point. At this time, we're gonna talk about public comments, and then we'll make a decision, then we'll go into closed session. So the floor is open at this point for public comments. Huh?
Did anybody sign up for public comments?
Yeah, we got people signed up.
So want to make a motion that we, you want to make a motion that we go to public comments?
I'm.
You're
if
wanting
we-
to discuss the public comments, right? Mike?
Yeah,
If y'all want the public comments, move to.
Before, yes.
If you're wanting them moved, or if you want them to stay
let's
where
just,
they're
let's
at.
just make it official. At this time, we're setting aside policy. And we're gonna talk about public comments, and then
Okay.
we'll make it official. So that's, at this time, I need a motion to set aside policy. Motion by Brenda, second by
Second.
Randy.
Mhm.
Now, floor is open.
But I-
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
Mr. Chairman, I make the motion that we make comments to be held before we go into closed session.
Second.
Second.
Who's second? Terry second. So we got a motion on the floor and second by Terry. That we do public comments before we go into closed session. Any further discussion?
Discussion. I would like to know, why we were waiting for individuals who want to make comments all the way after, just about after our meeting, before the meeting get over. Sometimes these meetings run long, and we're taking up, we're not respecting people's time from my standpoint.
I gotta remember that. I'm getting older, okay? The reason I said to do it before we go into closed session, because we are here to conduct business for the public schools of Robeson County. And to me, our staff time is important. I would love to get them back to where they need to go to, and we still yet can continue to handle the public comments at a decent time. That was why I said that.
Well, I would like to put them before we start conducting business for, people are getting off work, people are coming in here, we do necessarily work for the public and stuff, and we are servants, of the public and stuff. So I say we move it before we do action items, but.
I contend that the business of the school system still need to be first and foremost above anything. And then I think that we do need to hear from the public also.
We said.
That is
We're gonna
also,
hear, that's statute. We're gonna hear from, it just depends on when we want to hear from. them. We are gonna hear from. them.
that is also business of us to hear from them. I mean, I just don't see why we haven't waiting all day long to do public comments at the end.
All right. Anybody second that?
I'll second it, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Under information items, is that your motion?
Yes, before information items. Yes, I would like to do public comment before information items.
Before information item.
Yes. Or you could do information items. It don't
Well,
matter.
with the information.
With the information items.
Okay.
Clarification. I thought Mrs. Farabee said, do them before we go into closed session. Maybe I couldn't hear. What
I
did you say?
I said do
what
it
she
before
said.
we go into closed session, because sometimes our public comments are long.
Uh-huh.
They're very long.
Okay, did you get a second on what you said?
Somebody.
Yeah, Henry, I thought
Terry.
Terry
Yeah,
said.
Terry
Okay,
seconded.
then we
I
should
like that
vote on
substitute motion.
Montes and then,
You got
Right.
a substitute with
Right.
Vontae and
Right,
Randy.
that's right.
okay, so we got two options to vote
Yeah,
on.
we
Is
got
that what
two.
you said, Mr. Chair?
Yeah, we got two. Right now, we'll vote on the substitute for it first. The substitute was to do it before we start open set,
Action item.
before we start
At
action
the end
items.
of information.
Information.
That's the beginning of the meeting, correct? That's what you're
Correct.
talking about? Okay.
All right. And then the second motion is we do it right before we go into closed session. So at this time, all in favor of doing it? Substitute motion. Raise your right hand.
And that is, tell us again what it is.
At the end of information,
At the end of information.
before action item.
Before action item.
So John, Randy, Terry, Dwayne,
You said before action item, right?
yeah. You got six?
Before action.
Y'all good with that? So we don't really need to vote on the other action, do we? Greg?
No. Substitute carries.
Substitute carry. So from now on, the public comments will be before we go into action items. Is that correct? Okay. So for tonight, do we want to go ahead and do the public comments now or wait till we come out of closed session? Huh? Oh, yeah, we're gonna do
They're
them.
at the end of the agenda. They're on here. They're at the end of the Somebody make a motion to move it.
I second it.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. So they'll be done before we go into closed session. All righty, that's where we at. At this time, we open the floor up to Doug McBroom. It's 3 minutes.
These gentlemen wanted to do public comments, but the site was down.
Huh?
So these gentlemen back here wanted to do public comments, but the site was down. Maybe they
I can't
should-
hear.
These gentlemen back here wanted to do public comments, but the site was down. And I talked to you about that today. So they were not able to, and they had no alternative. They
The
didn't.
site was not down. You could come in at 5:30 and sign up just like you always could, Mr. McBroom.
No, that's not accurate.
Is that
sir.
not true, Mr. Cole?
Public comments were cut off at 4:30 yesterday, and that's what was posted at the bottom of the form. That's how I was instructed. Close of business yesterday, online.
Where's Mr. Brand at?
And it's ever say it was down. They said the site was
Only one
down.
sign up is
I'm-
Mr. McBroom. Your 3 minutes is running. We'll deal with those after your 3 minutes.
Okay. With well over 20,000 views, shares, and comments, everyone knows what the board should do. Okay, I would hope that no one would try to hinder my First Amendment right to free speech and to petition the government for redress of grievances. I'll address some problems using your words. 2017, you fired Lowry to bring in Graves, violating hiring policies. Robesonian quoted Dwayne Smith saying, "They break policies all the time. And as for an emergency, it depends on what you look at. A policy is a policy, an emergency is an emergency." His words, not mine. So make it an emergency and you can do what you want. Last month, before being called an idiot and who needs to sit down and shut up, Dwayne Smith said that I did not help the board. He obviously doesn't know what I have done, and I have done many things to try and help, including asking the superintendent to discuss district policies. Williamson refused to meet, stating, "I am aware of your concerns," which is bizarre because I've never spoken to him. Additionally, he stated any concerns can be shared with him by email. His words again. I can guess that he doesn't want to meet with any parents, I guess. maybe the board should look at his idea of what community relations are. Mr. Hunt emailed me saying that I was wrong about setting aside policy. On the video, the issue was brought forward by Bobby Locklear as an information-only item to be discussed with action in the next meeting. There was no emergency. There was no reason to set aside policy. Mr. Hunt also said that I strongly suggested the board had acted illegally or unlawfully. Never said that it was illegal, said it was wrong. Okay? But I understand the attempt to intimidate and silence me. Going back to 2017, the board violated its own hiring policy. Mr. Hunt's own words were, looking back on things now, I should have taken a look at that policy. Seriously, his words. I looked at the 2020 meetings and couldn't find the agenda moving public comments that you just did. Mike Smith said when I talked to him today that he did not vote for that and the chair must have just done it. I asked him if he would move it back, okay, since he's the chair now, but he refused. Policies are there to keep everything and everybody as honest and transparent as possible. Okay, can't be fair always, but you try. Okay, not to bypass legitimate process or use as weapons against other people. How about this? Right now, just set aside policy and vote to have a policy that states you never have to follow any more policies. That'll kind of clear it all up. Lastly, Dwayne Smith also said in the article that we're going to move the district forward no matter what. And fast forward 5 years, PSRC is still at the bottom in so many ways, and you attack people who call attention to it. If you have to use legal loopholes and policy gymnastics to do things, you're doing it wrong. Mr. Hunt said I should apologize to the board, not the other way around for last month. Okay, fine. I'm sorry there are some people who are thin-skinned and can't handle criticism. I am sorry that the board has not made this a district people want to send their kids to. I am sorry the board does not seem to understand leadership and accountability and won't admit there are serious issues that have not been addressed for decades. Okay, the ball is kind of in your court on this. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Craig's got the floor.
One comment for future references. It's my understanding that names are not supposed to be called out in public comments. And I'd like us to adhere to that after tonight.
Mr. Chairman, if the two gentlemen in the back want to make public comment, I'd ask the board to allow that.
Sure, I need to know what they want to talk
Yeah.
about. If y'all come up. We'll allot you 3 minutes, sir. You need to identify yourself and what your concerns are.
Good evening. My name is Michael Muhammad from Maxon, North Carolina. I'm here to address the student reassignment policy 4150, Townsend, South Robeson, Fairgrove. My question is, now that y'all have agreed for the reassignment, would y'all be going to the communities, talking to the parents and seeing how they feel on it, and are they with it or against it? And if they oppose it, is the board willing to take under consideration the concerns of the parents and the community that disagree with the reassignment of children coming from Townsend, Maxton, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade to South Robeson? Because if the best interest of the children is the reality, then the best interest of the parents has to be the reality as well. And if you don't address the parents and the community, and if they disagree with it, what is your next step? Do you move forward with it, or do you take the parents under consideration? Given that the distance between Maxton and Roland, without children having to get up early in the morning to try to catch a bus to this school, with sports and entertainment, anything that's going on, some parents work. They can't get to their children and something go wrong with that type of distance. Are you going to take all this under consideration when it comes to the children? If you got the children's best interests at hand, that if the parents and the community does not agree with it, what if Fairgrove doesn't agree with it, shipping their children? Are you going to take those parents under consideration and those children under consideration being bused to another school? So I wanted to present this to you because I saw y'all all agree that you move forward with the reassignment. But what if the community is against it? Do the board override what the community want? Or do they take the community under consideration, since it's the community kids that will be moved from Townsend to South Robeson.
Mr. Chairman, I know we're not supposed to respond back at public comments. But I do know that Superintendent Williamson did state that he will be having a meeting there at the town hall in Maxton in regards to it and answer any questions that they may have. Is it okay, Mr. Chairman? Is it okay, Mr. Grady? That's it? Okay.
Yeah, I heard the same thing.
Okay, thank you, and I appreciate y'all for the time.
Thank you. Next individual.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Trayvon MacArthur. I'm the great-grandson of Jim Barnes and Odelia Farmer from Maxton, North Carolina, grandson of Rosalie Barnes and the son of Betty MacArthur. I'm here to talk about the Townsend situation. For some reason, with the research I've been doing, I noticed that Maxton got the American Recovery Act of $685,000. They got a grant from the North Carolina Office of Resiliency for $320, and they also have $2.2 million. And we're gonna have some kids 6, 7, and 8 going to another city. I know it's gonna be a lot of problems because the kids are used to being at home where they should be. I also know that we already have a historic school called R.B. Dean. I know there was a small fire that didn't do incredible damage that I know we can afford, but for some reason, back in 2021, I think the board approved to make those repairs. And if they made those repairs, I don't know anything about it, and I haven't seen anything done, or I've been to town halls and haven't heard it discussed of those things being done. Also, talking with the public, don't know if it's true or not. Maybe Ms. Fairley can voice this, but I think she can't. But there's some things going on under the school at R.B. Dean Elementary that cost too much money. So therefore, those kids are going to have to go to South Robeson as opposed to staying where they at R.B. Dean. And I do know the public in Maxton, North Carolina does not agree with this decision on tonight. I'm the unofficial representative speaking on their behalf. And I'm hoping that we can either block, appeal, or slow the process of this, because no one from Maxton, and I'm talking about the people and the kids, they will not benefit from this. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you. All righty. Thank y'all for your public comments. At this time, we'll go into have a motion to go in closed session. Randy does.
I move that the Board of Education for the Public Schools of Robeson County go into closed session for the purpose of discussing certified and classified personnel, North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A1 and 6, and to consult with the attorney retained by the board in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege between the attorney and the Board of Education for the Public Schools of Robeson County, North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A1 and 3.
Motion by Randy, second by Vontae. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Don't forget your Have a motion by Vontae.
Second.
by Randy to come out of closed session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. I have a motion to approval closed session minutes by Brendan, second by Randy. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Thank you.
Move approval of personnel as presented, Mr. Chairman.
Have a motion as of personnel as presented, set by Brendan, second by Randy. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Okay, I got a motion to adjourn. Wait one. You second. Craig, go ahead.
I'll second it and make a comment.
You go ahead.
We need to have a finance construction committee meeting. Don't have an exact date, but looking at the last week in April, Mr. Rainey, I'll get with you on the date there. Since we're out next week, and look at the last week in April, and we'll get some information to everybody. And would it be possible if we had it to start at 5:30 instead of 6? Is that a problem? That be a problem with anybody? Okay. Is 5:30 good? Okay, we'll get some dates out.
That's fine.
Thank you.
Mr. Gentry,
Policy committee meeting Thursday, May 5th, 10 a.m.
May 5th. Okay. I have a motion to adjourn by Vontae. Anybody second?
I did second.
Craig seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Thank you.